So you're ready to buy a house. What's it like? What's the process like? I did a video earlier on the steps to buying a house. So you know the steps, what's involved in buying a house. But what's the emotional process like? What are the ups and downs? What are you going to feel while buying a house? Let's go through that in this video that starts right now. Hi, I'm Chad Scott with eXp Realty. Happy Monday and welcome back to my channel. Let's make it a fantastic week. If you haven't already, don't forget, hit that like button down below and subscribe to my channel for more great videos every Monday at 10 a.m. Today, we're going to talk about what you can expect during the buying process. In addition to helping you find a house, negotiating on your behalf, and becoming your best friend for the next 30 to 60 days, I wear a lot of other hats during the process. So let's go over the different experiences and the wave of emotions that we'll both feel exciting experience that we're both going to have in the home buying process. So sometimes the buying process ends before it even begins. What do I mean by that? So we all know that when you're buying a house, the very first step is to get your pre-approval. This shows the seller that you have the funds and the capability to buy a house. This is the first step in the process and often the most important step. But sometimes with some buyers, something comes up when the lender is pulling their credit. Sometimes their credit score just isn't high enough because they have too much debt to income ratio. Whatever it may be, the lender says, we can't approve you for a loan right now for whatever reason. But the lenders that I work with will set you down a path. They'll say, here's what you need to do to improve your credit so you can buy a house in the near future. Do this, this, and this, and we can buy a house in the next 3 to 6 to 9 months. My wife and I had the same problem when we started to buy a house. We had to wait 9 months from the time we started looking. Our credit just wasn't where we wanted it to be. So we had to work on our credit for 9 months until our credit was finally where it needed to be to buy a house. So this happens to a lot of buyers. So if it happens to you, don't worry about it. It happens all the time. This is where I get to play a counselor to my clients. I get to be there for you and reassure you that it's okay, that I'm not going anywhere, that I'll still be there for you, that I'll still be your friend, that we can still look at houses online together, that we can narrow in on the house that you want. I've had clients that have worked on their credit for over a year. Sometimes working on your credit for 3, 6 months, 9 months, even longer can be a benefit because during this time, I am still sending you houses to look at. You're still looking at houses. We're still communicating. We're talking about what you do like, what you don't like. You're saying, Chad, that house was terrible. Don't send me anything like that again. I think you'll really love this house. You're looking at the picture, you're saying, that house is awesome, Chad. I want a house just like that. So that when you are finally ready to buy a house, we know exactly what to narrow in on. So that when we start looking at houses with that pre-approval in hand, we narrow in on that exact house that we know you're going to love. So oftentimes we look at maybe 1, maybe 2 or 3 houses. We write that offer and we often get it right away. So having to work on your credit really isn't a bad thing. It can often help you out in the long run. Once we have the pre-approval in hand and we're ready to go, that starts the fun part of the process, looking at houses. This is probably the most fun part. Even I thoroughly enjoy this part. I love going to houses, looking around, helping my buyers imagine where to put their furniture, imagining which room to make their kids' playroom, imagining the gourmet dinners that they can make in their beautiful new kitchen that they're going to be buying soon. I have just as much fun as you guys do looking at these houses during this stage of the process. I like to think that my buyers and I become pretty good friends during this stage of the process. Oftentimes we're looking at several homes. It's very rare that we look at one home, make the offer, and we're done. Usually we're looking at least 3 to 5 homes, usually even more homes than that. So during this time, we become friends, we get to know each other, get to know our dislikes and likes, and it's just a fun process. Who doesn't like to look at houses? The next stage of the buying process is the offer stage. This is where we found the house that you love and you're writing offers. You're submitting an offer on the house, and you're crossing your fingers and you're hoping for the best. This is probably the most stressful part of the whole process, both for you and for me. Believe it or not, I get as stressed as my buyers waiting to hear back from the sellers about their offer. We submit an offer and it seems like days and days until we hear something. When in reality, it's usually 24 hours or less. But that 24 hours seems like forever. It really does for both of us. And while it's my job to seem calm and collected while you're asking me for updates every hour for those 24 hours, I'm just as nervous as you guys. I want your offer to be accepted just as badly as you do. I want to see you in that new house. I want to see you excited. I want to see you start that next chapter of your life. I really do. The worst part of this stage is that in the seller's market that we're in right now, is that oftentimes the first offer that we submit is not accepted just because there's so many other offers. It's just the way it is. So then we start the whole process over again. We go out and look at more houses, submit another offer, stress out again, and we just start it over again. And guys, this is my full-time job. Oftentimes I have multiple offers out during the day. So imagine the stress that I'm feeling most days. It's not uncommon for me to have several offers out at the same time. So just imagine the stress that I'm under some days. But I still love my job. I really do. Once we have an offer accepted, and we're all a lot less stressed because that part of the process is behind us now, next comes the timelines part of the process. So this part of the process, there may still be a little bit of stress because you have the inspections, you have the loan paperwork to sign, all the documents you're getting into your lender, you have to worry about the house appraising out, stuff like that. But most buyers I find are super excited during this time of the process. They're decorating their house, they're making plans, they're planning their first housewarming party, they're picking out furniture. They're not buying furniture yet because you're not supposed to make any big purchases until after your house closes, but they're planning the furniture that they plan on buying after the house closes, and they're packing. During this stage of the process, I play your point of contact. I'm your point of contact between the seller. I'm also in contact with your lender, but your lender usually talks to you directly. So if you need to get back into the house for, say, measurements, or if you have any questions for the seller, say, Mr. Seller, where do you get your water filtration system from? Or Mr. Seller, what day is garbage collection day? Anything like that, you ask me that, and I get those answers for you. The last step, and probably the most rewarding step in this whole process, is the final walkthrough and signing day. Final walkthrough is where you walk through the house for the final time before you sign all the documents and make sure that the house is still one piece. You make sure that the roof's not gone, there's no holes in the wall. You make sure that the house is generally in the same condition that it was in when you first made the offer on the house. Then, of course, you have signing day. That's where you sit down at the signing table and you sign that stack of paperwork that the lender makes you sign. Of course, your reward at the end of signing all those documents are your keys to the house. After that, you move into the house and you start your new life as homeowners. This may be the last step of the process, but I stay in touch with all my past buyers, whether through Facebook, quarterly mailings, or whether it's just through texting or phone calls every now and then, just to catch up and see how things are going. I like to think of all my clients as friends or family. You guys are all important to me. You've all helped me grow in different ways, and I like to stay in touch with all of you guys. Even though the transaction may be done, I'm always here to answer any questions you may have in the future. I hope this video helped prepare you to buy a house and all the ups and downs that come with it, and the flood of emotions that can happen with it. Most people only buy 1 or 2 homes in their lives, so buying a house is a big deal. If you haven't already, hit that like button down below and then subscribe button down below to subscribe to my channel. I'm Chad with eXp Realty. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you back here next Monday morning.